Welcome to Culture Vulture. It is your ultimate alternative weekly entertainment guide. We bring you the best of film, music, and the arts. Our perspective is fresh. Mainstream media often overshadows unique voices and creative expressions. Culture Vulture aims to shine a light on hidden cultural gems that deserve your attention. Each week, we curate a selection of films, music, and events designed to inspire and engage. We celebrate the diverse tapestry of artistic endeavors that shape our world. Highlights this week include 3 films that offer a blend of storytelling, emotion, and originality. Carmen Jones transports viewers to World War II. It intertwines love and ambition in a vibrant musical journey. This journey captivates the heart. Prey reimagines the iconic Predator franchise. It showcases a young Comanche woman's battle for survival against an otherworldly foe. This story is set in a historical context that emphasizes strength and ingenuity. Lastly, Till poignantly recounts the true story of Mamie Till-Mobley. She becomes a powerful advocate for justice after the tragic murder of her son. Her story illuminates the fight against racial violence in America. The writing and selection for Culture Vulture is by Pat Harrington. The music is by Tim Bragg. Together, we invite you to dive into the vibrant world of culture from a different perspective and discover new favorites, and experience the magic that awaits beyond the mainstream.
Saturday the 5th of October, 2024. Carmen Jones, 1954. BBC 2, 10:15 a.m. This classic musical tells the story of a young woman caught between love and ambition. Set during World War II, the movie follows Carmen, who has big dreams but finds herself in complicated relationships. The film is full of energy, with bright performances and songs that stick with you. It also highlights the pressures and choices faced by those trying to escape tough environments. Kirsty MacColl at the BBC. BBC 2, 8:40 p.m. Kirsty MacColl was a singer who always told stories through her songs. Watching this BBC special, you get a sense of her talent and range. There's something deeply personal in the way she performed, like she was sharing her world with you. Her life wasn't easy, and you can feel the ups and downs in her music. This show gives a good look at her career. It also makes you wonder about the challenges she faced along the way. Kirsty MacColl, The Boxed Set. BBC 2, 9:40 p.m. This documentary digs deeper into Kirsty MacColl's life and music, offering more insight into the stories behind her songs. It's a chance to reflect on how her music evolved over time. Her work touched on many real-life struggles, and this program shows that. Fans will appreciate the depth, and newcomers will understand why she's still so admired today. Prey, 2022. C4, 9 p.m. Prey is an exciting and fresh entry in the Predator franchise. This installment is set long before the events of the original 1987 film. The story is set in the 1700s. It follows Naru, a young Comanche woman. She fights to defend her tribe from an advanced alien hunter. Naru's courage and resourcefulness are put to the test as she learns how to outsmart the creature. The natural landscapes and the contrast between primitive weaponry and alien technology make this film a standout in the franchise. Triumph, Jesse Owens and the Berlin Games. Sky History, 9 p.m. Jesse Owens is often seen as the man who defied the Nazis. His Olympic wins, for gold medals, in 1936 solidified this perception. But when you look at his own words, his story is more complicated. In interviews and his autobiography, he explains that things weren't as clear-cut as we might think. For example, Owen said that Hitler didn't snub him as much as American racism did when he came back home. We hope this documentary gives a more honest look at the man behind the legend. It should show all sides of his experience. However, don't be surprised if it doesn't. Show Trial. BBC 1, 9 p.m. This gripping drama examines the influence of media and public opinion on the justice system. The series focuses on a high-profile murder case. The individuals involved seem like they're on trial for who they are. It's not just about what they did. You're left wondering who's telling the truth and how far the system will go to find it. Each episode peels back another layer of the courtroom drama.
Sunday, the 6th of October, 2024. Till, 2022. BBC 2, 10 p.m. Till tells the powerful and deeply moving true story of Mamie Till-Mobley. Her life is shattered when her 14-year-old son Emmett Till is brutally murdered in Mississippi in 1955. The film centers on Mamie's unwavering determination. She seeks justice for her son despite facing overwhelming grief. She also confronts a society entrenched in racial hatred. Through Mamie's eyes, we see the horror of Emmett's death. We also see the courage she summons to confront a world that would rather forget the tragedy. Real, 2019. Film 4, 12:40 a.m. Real dives into the life of a young couple in love. Things take a darker turn when their lives are complicated by secrets. The chemistry between them is undeniable, but not everything is as it seems. The film slowly uncovers what's hidden beneath their smiles. It's gripping and intense, revealing the lengths people go to hide their past. Black and Blue, 2019. C4, 1:05 a.m. A rookie cop finds herself in danger after witnessing a crime committed by corrupt officers. She must decide who to trust and how to survive while trying to expose the truth. The film is tense, with action-packed scenes and a lead character fighting against the odds. It also shows the tough choices faced when loyalty is questioned, and the importance of standing up for what's right.
Monday, the 7th of October, 2024. Panorama, October 7th, 1 year on. BBC 1, 9 p.m. 1 year after the horrors of October 7th, this documentary examines what's changed. It also looks at what hasn't. The survivors share their stories, and there's a deeper focus on how the world has responded. It's a tough watch, but important, as it reminds us of the human cost of political violence. The program forces us to think about what's been done and what's still needed to bring justice and peace. Hombre, 1967. Talking Pictures, 12:40 p.m. In Hombre, a man raised by Native Americans must navigate a hostile world that doesn't understand or accept him. On a stagecoach journey, he's forced to make life-saving decisions when a robbery goes wrong. The movie portrays conflicts between people with different backgrounds. It also highlights how one person's courage can make a difference. It's a western with heart, with tough choices at every turn. Bombing Brighton, the plot to kill Thatcher. BBC 2, 9 p.m. This documentary revisits a dramatic moment in British political history. The Brighton bombing in 1984 was a pivotal event. It is one of the most audacious attacks on a British government since the Gunpowder Plot. The bombing was carried out by the Provisional Irish Republican Army, IRA, with the intent to assassinate Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and her cabinet, who were staying at the Grand Hotel in Brighton for the Conservative Party conference. The motives behind the bombing can be traced back to the complex and turbulent history of the Troubles in Northern Ireland. The IRA aimed to unite Ireland and end British rule in Northern Ireland. They considered the British government as a legitimate target to advance their cause. The immediate trigger for the attack was the 1981 Irish hunger strike, during which 10 prisoners died. The IRA saw Thatcher's refusal to grant the prisoners political status as an act of intransigence. This refusal further fueled their resolve to strike. The planning for the Brighton bombing was meticulous, involving 2 years of preparation and reconnaissance. The bomb was planted in the hotel more than 3 weeks before the conference. It was set to detonate in the early hours of October 12, 1984. The explosion killed 5 people, including Conservative MP Sir Anthony Berry, and injured more than 30 others. By sheer chance, Thatcher escaped unharmed, and in a display of defiance, she insisted that the conference continue as planned. The consequences of the bombing were far-reaching. It brought the issue of Northern Ireland to the forefront of British politics and public consciousness. Despite the violence, secret negotiations between the British and Irish governments continued. They proceeded at a slower pace to avoid the appearance of conceding to IRA demands. These talks led to the 1985 Anglo-Irish Agreement. This agreement gave the Irish government an advisory role in the governance of Northern Ireland. The Brighton bombing is both a deeply personal and political story. It affects the lives of many people. It also shapes the course of British and Irish history. It serves as a stark reminder of the length some groups will go to for their political aims. Such actions can profoundly impact individuals, societies, and nations. Jamoli Maddox, follow the leader. UNDAVE, 10 p.m. Jamoli Maddox takes a sharp and funny look at the people who lead extreme groups around the world. He doesn't just make fun of them, he digs into what drives their beliefs. Maddox's style is laid back, but he's not afraid to ask tough questions. This show is part comedy, part social experiment, and always eye-opening. Land, 2021. Film 4, 11:20 p.m. A woman chooses isolation in the mountains after a tragedy. In Land, she learns to survive on her own, slowly healing from her loss. The film is quiet but powerful. We watch her regain control over her life. She faces the wilderness and her own emotions. It's about finding peace after pain, even when it feels impossible. Little Richard, I Am Everything, 2023. C4, 1:25 a.m. This documentary tells the story of Little Richard. He was one of rock and roll's most influential and flamboyant pioneers. Little Richard, I Am Everything delves into his journey from the Deep South to global stardom. It explores his electrifying stage presence. His bold personality changed the face of music forever. Richard's high-energy performances, merged with his distinctive voice and infectious charisma, captivated audiences in ways few artists had before. His groundbreaking hits, like Tutti Frutti and Long Tall Sally, set the standard for rock and roll. They also broke through racial barriers. This was at a time when segregation was still in full force. Beyond his musical genius, Little Richard's bold and unapologetic presence was transformative. It helped pave the way for future generations of artists. These artists dared to challenge the status quo. He was one of the first black performers to cross over into mainstream white audiences. His flamboyant style was something the world had never seen before. It included makeup, flashy outfits, and an androgynous look. This documentary shows how Little Richard refused to conform to societal expectations. He embraced his individuality, both musically and personally. He lived in a time when being different was often dangerous. His bravery and refusal to hide his true self left an indelible mark on the music industry and the world. A significant part of Little Richard's legacy is his impact on the LGBTQ+ community. The documentary delves into his complex relationship with his own sexuality and identity, a struggle he faced throughout his life. Richard was a queer black man raised in the conservative South. He often wrestled with reconciling his religious upbringing with his desire to express his true self. His androgynous appearance and gender-bending style made him an icon for many in the LGBTQ+ community. However, he struggled with periods of deep conflict about his sexual orientation. I Am Everything captures this duality. It shows how Richard's flamboyant public persona and private battles with his identity opened doors for future queer artists. He sometimes denied that part of himself. Richard's influence on queer culture cannot be overstated. By blurring the lines of gender and sexuality in his performances, he became a symbol of defiance against societal norms. His larger-than-life persona, both on and off stage, challenged the rigid expectations of masculinity and heterosexuality in popular culture. In doing so, he paved the way for future LGBT+ musicians and performers like David Bowie and Elton John. The documentary highlights how Little Richard's embrace of his uniqueness shaped the music world. It also inspired countless LGBTQ+ individuals to be unapologetically themselves in a world that often sought to marginalize them. Little Richard, I Am Everything is not just a celebration of a musical legend. It is also a powerful reminder of the intersection of race, sexuality, and music. It honors a man who lived on the edge of these overlapping worlds. He pushed boundaries and refused to be defined by them. Little Richard's legacy as a trailblazer in rock and roll is profound. He broke down barriers for both black and LGBTQ+ communities. The documentary is a fitting tribute to an artist who truly was everything. His influence continues to resonate across generations. It also resonates across cultures.
Wednesday, the 9th of October, 2024. Mick Jackson remembers. Threads. BBC 4, 10 p.m. Mick Jackson, the director of Threads, recalls creating one of the most chilling films about nuclear war. He talks about how hard it was to bring such a grim vision to life. The film still feels relevant today. It's a fascinating glimpse into the making of a film that has haunted viewers for decades. Threads, 1984. BBC 4, 10:15 p.m. Threads is a haunting film about what might happen if nuclear war ever came to Britain. It shows how ordinary people's lives are torn apart, with no heroes, just survivors. The film is bleak but powerful, and it leaves you thinking about the fragile nature of our world. Watching it today, the fears it taps into feel just as real as they did when it was first made. The Onion Field, 1979. Talking Pictures, 1:25 a.m. The Onion Field tells the real-life story of two police officers, one of whom is kidnapped and killed. The film follows the surviving officer as he struggles with guilt and the legal battles that follow. It's a hard-hitting drama that doesn't shy away from difficult emotions, showing how one night can change lives forever.
Thursday, the 10th of October, 2024. Joker, 2019. ITV1, 10:45 p.m. Joker is a dark, psychological exploration of Arthur Fleck, a man struggling with mental illness and societal rejection. Living in the decaying streets of Gotham, Fleck starts off as a clown for hire. He tries to fit into a world that constantly beats him down. This struggle leads him toward chaos and violence. As he descends into madness, the film raises unsettling questions. It examines how society treats the most vulnerable. It shows the devastating effects of neglect, cruelty, and isolation. It's not a traditional comic book movie. There are no superheroes here. Just a deeply troubled man searching for meaning in a city that has forgotten him. At the heart of Joker is Joaquin Phoenix's unforgettable portrayal of Arthur Fleck. Phoenix's performance is raw and vulnerable, transforming from a fragile, broken man into the infamous villain. His physical transformation, from his gaunt appearance to the eerie way he moves, mirrors Arthur's mental unraveling. Phoenix draws us into Arthur's inner world. We feel sympathy for him, even as his actions grow darker and more disturbing. This complexity in the character leaves the audience torn between empathy and horror. We witness Arthur's full transformation into the Joker. The film also delves deeply into themes of mental illness and how it's often misunderstood or ignored. Arthur tries to seek help through public health services, but he is met with indifference. Budget cuts leave him without access to his medication or therapy. This lack of support becomes crucial in his transformation. He shifts from a struggling man to a dangerous, unhinged figure. Director Todd Phillips critiques societal failures using these elements. He ensures Joker serves as not only a character study. It also comments on how systems designed to help people can ultimately fail them. Visually, Joker is a feast for the eyes, with its gritty depiction of Gotham City reflecting Arthur's inner turmoil. The cinematography shows a bleak, oppressive environment in the city. It contrasts this with moments of twisted beauty. One example is Arthur's unsettling yet almost graceful dancing as he embraces his new identity. The film's soundtrack, particularly its haunting cello score, increases the tension. It makes the atmosphere feel even more suffocating and tragic. With the release of the upcoming sequel, Joker, Folia Dux, audiences are eager to see where this story will go next. The sequel is expected to explore Arthur's continuing journey into madness, potentially alongside other infamous characters from the Batman universe. Joker ended with Arthur fully embracing his new identity. We are left wondering how much further he will descend. Will this next film dive even deeper into the psychological and social issues introduced in the original? Fans of Joker will no doubt be anticipating another intense, thought-provoking experience. The Novice, 2021. Film 4, 11:45 p.m. A college student pushes herself to the limit in The Novice. She joins the rowing team and becomes obsessed with being the best, even if it destroys her. The film portrays the extreme pressure we put on ourselves to succeed. It also shows how far people will go to achieve perfection. It's intense and raw, leaving you wondering where the line is between.
And finally, Friday the 11th of October, 2024. Zulu, 1964. Film 4, 3:30 p.m. Set during the Anglo-Zulu War, Zulu tells the story of a small British force. They are defending a mission station against a massive Zulu army. The film is an epic, filled with impressive battle scenes and tension as two cultures clash. While it shows bravery on both sides, it also raises questions about empire and the cost of war. It's a classic, but one that also makes you think about the people behind the battles.